Hey, testing 1 2 1 2. Hey, everybody, welcome back. I don't know why I'm pointing at you, but hello, welcome back. Let's just get right into it. I don't really have like anything funny or interesting or, anything to say. So let's just get right into it. I am behind on my monthly wrap ups. I do these every month. I talk about all the books that I read in the past month. If you couldn't guess, I didn't do one for September and I didn't do one for October, and it is now November. It's November. So we have a staggering amount of books to read, to talk about today. Let me just get the stats here. In September, I read 11 books, and in October, I read 12. So we have 23 books to talk about. You're in luck because we actually do have some 5 stars in this mix. We have some 5 stars, we have some 1 stars, we have some flops, we have some bangers, we have some in-betweeners. Get yourself a nice drink. This is my broken, disgusting Stanley that I've only had for 2 years, but it looks like it's been through 5 wars. It's full of water, so stay hydrated. Boots is here. He might come in here and there. My little kitty cat. He's just hanging out in my room. So yeah, get a snack, get a drink, and let's talk about the 23 books that I read in September and October. So the first 2 books, I swear to God, I accidentally talked about in my August wrap up, but if I didn't, I'm sorry. I don't have much to say about them anyway. I read these in one of my horror reading vlogs. Cursed by Leigh Kenny and The Hanging Man by Derek Muck. I'm so sure I talked about these in my August wrap up to the point where I'm like genuinely really confused that it says I finished them in September. Didn't like either of them. Don't really have much to say about them either. So there you go. Then it was a long 2 weeks before I finished any other books. Don't know why. Don't remember. I picked up The Succubus's Prize by Katie Robert. Is her name Kate or Katie? I don't know. This is the 4th book in the Deal with the Demon series. I did talk about this in, I think, my last wrap up, my August wrap up, and I did read book 3 in my monster romance reading vlog. So lots of good things to watch if you want to hear more about this series. I really love this series. This one was definitely my least favorite so far. I don't think I've read any of there's 2 more that I haven't read, but because I just didn't like this one, I haven't felt inclined to pick up the rest. These are like short, quick, 200 and under page monster romances about demons in the demon realm and human women. So this one is a succubus and this human woman who has a lot of trauma, especially like pertaining to religion and sex. And so like her getting paired off with a succubus, she was like really freaked out. It had some good moments, it had some sweet moments to it, but it just genuinely, like, there wasn't really any emotion in it for me. I don't know what it was. I read it in like 2 hours. I read all of them in like 2 hours, but this one just like didn't stick with me. I don't know. I just didn't love it. I don't really remember like why I wasn't connecting to it. I don't think I liked either of the main characters that much, so that could have been it. I don't know. But yeah, I still recommend the series, especially just like if you like read one of them and you like one of them or 1 or 2 of them, I'd recommend you read all of them, at least for now. Like I said, I haven't read the last 2, but the first 3 I really liked. So there you go. Moving on to a book that altered my brain chemistry, and that is City of Souls and Sinners by Kayla Edwards. This is the 2nd book in the, what is this series called? The House of Devils series, which is quickly becoming one of my favorite romantasy series on Kindle Unlimited. It is so good. The first book is City of Gods and Monsters, first of all. This series is god tier. It is so good. I highly recommend, like, if you have seen City of Gods and Monsters and you've thought about reading it and you just like didn't know anything about it, you didn't hear people talking about it, I'm telling you right now, read it. It's so good. There's 4 books out right now. This is book 2. I'm reading book 3 right now, and so far so good. So yeah, but the review that I gave it, I did give it 5 stars. It's a 6 star. It was so good. I wrote, finish this book alone in my living room, and I got up and clapped because I did. I finished it and I was just like, wow, what a book. Like, I was just so grateful to have eyes to like read this. And this is almost 1,000 pages. It didn't feel like it. I realized that I was reading for a very long time when I was reading it, but it needed every single page. I don't even understand how Kayla Edwards comes up with this much story. Every single chapter, every single page of these books is full of emotion and character depth and all of this interwoven, just so interesting. Like, this world is so interesting. If you were a Mortal Instruments girly growing up, I'm calling you right now. If you love Cassandra Clare, if you grew up reading City of Bones, City of Ashes, like, you will love this series. It's an urban fantasy set in a world where demons just roam around. There's these groups of demon hunters that kind of are in like these kind of gangs, I guess, and there's different houses and like ranks and all this stuff. There's like hierarchy, so very much kind of like a gang, but they're not like violent. They just hunt demons and they are contract killers, basically. And we follow this human girl, Lauren, and she is a human girl, may or may not have magic, studies at a magic school in the city of Angelthine, and falls in love with the demon slayer. I don't know. Love these characters so much. I love them so much. Like, I think about them every day. I'm constantly thinking about when I can pick up this series again. So I'm really glad that I'm reading book 3 finally, because it's been a little while since I read this. This was definitely, like, I've only read the first 2. This is leagues above book 1, and book 1 was already so incredible. If you love romantasy, if you love the Book of Azrael, City Immortal Instruments, and what else could I say? I don't know. It's magical, it's whimsical, it's bittersweet, and it's just so, it's kind of Once Upon a Broken Heart in the sense that it's got that whimsy to it, but it is still a little dark, and it's got characters that have so many demons and so much inner turmoil. There's so many different interactions between all these characters, and the found family is so good. Really think this is going to become one of my favorite series of all time. It's not complete. There's 4 books out right now. I think there's going to be 5. I'm not sure. Book 5 does not have a release date yet, so if you are one of those people that needs a completed series, maybe wait, but seriously, please give this a try. Like, it is so amazing, and I don't see enough people talking about it. Next book that I read, Bone King and the Starling. This is by Elizabeth Stevens. This is my first book by her, and I really liked this. It's a novella. It's 198 pages. It does, I will say before I get into it, does have a lot of really triggering themes, namely slavery pertaining to Black people, like not just slavery of like a made up race. Like, there is real real colonization, real racism that is not like made up in a fantasy world, if you know what I mean. Like, so if that is triggering, like, definitely skip this, because it is a major theme. We follow this young woman who is basically a slave in this little like village town, and the Bone King comes and visits, and he's supposed to choose a woman to keep for the night. To, like, it's just, I don't know, it's just like something they do. I read this 2 months ago, okay, so if the specifics are a little blurry, but he's like this like Viking king. He's like this magical Viking king. He sees her and he's like, she's my mate, and he like can tell, and everybody else is in the village is like, you don't want her, she's a slave, like just pick like one of the like noble women. But he picks her. It's a story about, like, I'm explaining it badly, but like, it's a story about this woman being free from her enslavement and not really knowing what to do about that. Like, she starts out as a very timid, cautious person, understandably so, and the MMC kind of just doesn't really understand that, because he's like, we're literally destined to be together, why are you scared? There's spice, there's a pretty interesting magic system world type thing for a 200-page book. I really liked the way it was written overall. Like, I think with such heavy themes, there was a possibility for it to be either too heavy or too light, because it's a romance, but because it deals with heavy themes. But I think Elizabeth Stevens did a really good job of balancing that kind of dichotomy between like this love story about being rescued and like our main character, our main girl, still having her own autonomy outside of her enslavement. I really enjoyed that. I will say, if you like monster romance and that kind of thing, this is a really good one. But I am very excited because Elizabeth Stevens does have a 10-book alien romance series, and she is a Black author, so obviously, like I said, the main character is, did I say that? I don't know. The main character in this, she's Black, and so I'm really excited to read her 10-book alien monster romance series. I never find monster romance where the main female character isn't like a tiny frail little white woman, and so it's just like, I'm excited. I think it'll be good. This one was really good. I think it was a perfect amount of like romance and darkness and fantasy, and it was a good read if you want a novella. There you go. Then I read The Poppy War. Obviously, I vlogged my entire read of the Poppy War trilogy. I think I'm just going to talk about the whole Poppy War trilogy right now, because I did read all 3 of them in September and October. The Poppy War, the first book, I was rereading because I read it last year, but then I never continued the series. So for my reading vlog where I read all 3 books, I obviously reread them. This series, man, trauma. First of all, definitely go into it knowing that it is a war series that does not hide anything from you. You're going to see rape, you're going to see mass murder, you're going to see genocide, you're going to see famine, you're going to see cannibalism, you're going to see every type of atrocity that human beings have ever inflicted on one another in real life is in this book with no hint of hesitation. But with that being said, this series is genuinely breathtaking. Like, just the journey that Rin as a character goes through is so devastating. I think about who she was at the beginning and how we leave off the series is just so, it's like a mind fuck. It's so crazy. These characters are so real, and they're so perfect in their representation of like the different types of ways trauma can manifest, specifically like in soldiers, and like what happens to soldiers over time, and just I just like I don't even know what to say about it, but if you want more about the Poppy War, I did do a full video of me reading the whole trilogy. Lots of good reactions, lots of theorizing and mispronouncing names because I didn't look it up. I think I'll leave it at that for this video. Then I read Caught Up. This is the sequel to Lights Out. Oh my god, I forgot what it's called. This is a how do I explain this? This is a dark romantic comedy series. My Siri just went off. What the fuck? They're incredibly spicy, incredibly strange, and dark, and just, crazy. Okay, so if you want a dark romance that isn't like dark, like it's still got dark themes, it's still got the murder, the stalking, the creepy, the overly attached MMCs and all that, but it's not like depressing. It's like funny and silly, and they're cracking jokes while they're like murdering people. This is a good series. If you like Butcher and Blackbird, this one was definitely a lot spicier than Lights Out, which is saying something because Lights Out was fucking crazy. I listened to the audiobook of this, and I love the audiobooks for this series. Like, they're dual POV and they're just like so good. I really like listening to books like this, like dark romantic-ish comedies. But yeah, we follow our female main character. She's basically an OnlyFans, like the made up equivalent of OnlyFans, and our main guy is in the mob, and he's been obsessed with her because they had a fling when they were in high school, and he has been stalking her ever since. His dad told him to stay away from her or he would kill her, so he stalks her and finds her page, and he was her first subscriber. And I feel like that's all I should tell you. But definitely very, very kinky, very, very crazy. I found it was a little much. Like, I read some really spicy things in my time. For a 332 page book, like, I feel like there was nothing about our main girl outside of her interest in sex. And I think that's a real criticism that you're going to get with any book where one of the characters is a sex worker. But I read books where the character is a sex worker and it's not as like all consuming as this. I just feel like I needed more about the characters. Like, I feel like in Lights Out, we got a lot of their lore and we got a lot of like emotional scenes with them together and them individually. And I feel like I just didn't. It's not that it wasn't there though. It just I didn't feel it. Like, I just didn't feel for these characters as much as in Lights Out. But I still am going to continue the series. I did really like the audiobook. It was a fun time. If you want a quick, spicy, funny, silly time, I'd recommend. If you liked the first book especially, I'd say keep reading. The third book is coming out next year, I think, so there you go. And I read The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I did also read The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore later on. I read both of these as audiobooks. Pumpkin Spice Cafe was really cute. I liked The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore more. I think these are really good for the fall time. I have paused my reading of them because the third book is a Christmas one, so I'm waiting until it's closer to Christmas. But I really like this series. I think it's kind of giving Chestnut Springs, but more about like all the characters run little shops. Like, obviously, our main girl in the first book runs the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. In the second book, it's the owner of the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. They all own little shops on the main street of Dream Harbor. And I feel like you should just go into it just knowing that it's just a cozy small town business owner, cutesy little rom-com, fall themed autumnal rom-com. That's all I want to tell you. There's also kind of a mystery aspect to each book, and I really liked that. I feel like there was enough going on that balanced it. There is a little bit of spice, but not too much. I think these were a perfect, like, 3-star cutesy little time. The second book definitely got a lot more emotional, at least for me. I feel like I related to our main characters in the second book a lot more, but I liked both of them equally. I think they were both really, really great reads, and I'm really excited to continue the series. They're all very seasonal and cutesy. The first two are very, very autumnal, so if you want to read them, you should read them during the fall time. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, then I read Kiss of the Basilisk. I did make many a TikToks about this book when I was reading it, and I posted some of them as YouTube shorts, so check that out if you want to. This book, and what do I say about this book? There's a preface preface, I don't know, at the beginning of the book that's like, you will never be the same after you read this book. And when I tell you, they're so right. Like, she was so right with that. This book is the craziest romantasy I have ever read. It's genuinely, when you think you know what's coming, when you think you've seen it all, she just throws another thing in there and you're like, I'm sorry, what am I about to read? What is about to happen? Are you kidding me? And then it's happening. It's happening and you can't stop it. And then you keep reading because you can't stop reading because it's so good. Like, why is it good? And then you keep reading and you're like, okay, the worst is over. We can relax now. Wrong. It's gonna get worse. It's gonna get a whole lot worse. This book was a mind fuck. But with that being said, I gave it 4 stars. Like, it was literally so good. From the very beginning, it captivated me. I think one thing that I want to stress is that I think the reason why I enjoyed it so much is because I read it when I was really in the mood for like a really spicy book. I was in the mood for a book that still had a little bit of plot, that still had some meat to it because it's a 500-page book, but it wasn't like I wanted it to be equal parts smut and plot. And this was almost every chapter something spicy was happening, but to the point where it was just kind of routine at some moments, so you weren't getting tired of it. It still managed to surprise you. I don't know how to explain this book. Basically, we live in this world where there are like these okay, how do how do I explain this? So there are these basilisks, right? Can anthropomorphize into humans. And the basilisk, as you know, if you know anything, I don't know, basilisks are like a symbol of lust and sex, usually in literature and like just from the Bible. So the basilisks in this world, they like are like driven by lust, and so they've been imprisoned by the humans. There was like this big war between the basilisks and the humans, and the humans built this giant, like a giant wall of mirrors, because basilisks can't look in mirrors, and they've enslaved the basilisks. And the basilisk's main job is to train all of the eligible women of the age of the prince. They have to train these women in a competition to become experts at sex, so that the prince can then have sex with each of them and decide which one he wants to marry. I'm not kidding. This is the plot of the book, okay? And if you think that that sounds crazy, oh brother, it gets 10 times crazier. It gets 20 times crazier, and then it gets 30 times crazier. This book, if you like really, really, really smutty books, if you like monster romance, if you like spicy, spicy, spicy romantasy, if you like Scarlet St. Clair, like Touch of Darkness, King of Battle and Blood, if you like that type of vibe, you will love this. If you don't like books that are equal or more parts spice to plot, you're not gonna like this. But I will say that even some people that really like spice are probably not gonna like this book because of just how unhinged it is. Our female main character is so crazy. Like, she will do fucking anything. She just riffs. Like, she just does anything, okay? We've got a love triangle type situation where she has all the power. She is fully taking advantage of everybody in the book, left and right, and I kind of love that for her. I think the sequel came out today. Oh my god, wait. Oh my god, guys. Pause. The sequel came out today. Should I stop filming right now and go read it right now and read it right now? Oh my god, wait. Anyway, I am dying to read the second book. This book was so good. Like, I genuinely can't tell you. Like, it was Zodiac Academy level, where I know that it's not like Shakespeare, it's far from literary genius, but it was there's something about it that is skillful. Like, she knows how to story tell. Not in a way that is like artful, but in a way that makes you turn those pages. Like, I was glued to my Kindle. I stayed up till 4 a.m. finishing it. It was crazy. Highly recommend if you're into that type of vibe. Then let's move on. Okay, now we're in October. Hello, October. I was in the mood to bang out a couple short, spicy monster romances. I think this was when I was sick or I was just not feeling well. So I was stuck in bed reading on my Kindle, and I decided to continue the Ice Planet Barbarian series. That didn't last very long because I only got to book 2 and the Ice Planet Honeymoon with Vektal and Georgie, which is a novella bonus of book 1. So I only read 2 more of the books. There's like 30 of these books. I am planning on continuing the series. Barbarian Alien. I loved this. Our female main character, she definitely had to grow on me, but I really loved this series. I think there's a perfect amount of like emotion, tension, build up, spice. Like, it's just a good amount. And the alien world is genuinely so interesting. Like, sometimes with monster romances, the actual like monster aspect of like learning about this monster's identity and like his people and everything, I never find it interesting. I never find it fleshed out. But this world is so interesting. Basically, this series, if you don't know, it's pretty book talky, book talk famous, but I'll explain it to you in basics. But basically, the first book follows a group of women who are abducted by aliens, and then they crash on an alien planet, a different alien planet, and they're kind of rescued by these giant blue alien people, okay? And they all fall in love with aliens, okay? Hey, I'll read anything, okay? One thing you need to know about me is I will read anything. And book 2 was so good. I loved book 1, book 2 probably equally, I would say. I genuinely would argue that these are like if you do like science fiction, but you also have guilty pleasures where you read, but like you also have like spicy books as your guilty pleasure, you would love these because they do have like a good amount of actual sci-fi elements. Like, they fight aliens and they learn about the alien cultures and they travel on the planet and they live in this little like tribe group of aliens, and it's just interesting. It's just fun and it's silly, and I don't know, it's just a fun time. They never miss. So I read Barbarian Alien, which I gave 4 stars. I only rate some books, by the way, because my rating scale is so skewed because I read so many different kinds of books that I don't force myself to rate every single book. But if there is a rating, I'll try to tell you. And then the Ice Planet Honeymoon is with the characters from book 1 going on honeymoon, obviously. And it was very cute. It was nice to revisit because I did read that book like a year and a half ago. So it's nice to revisit, had a good time. Okay, what's next? Then I read some fan fiction. We're not going to talk about that, but I do track it on my story graph. Sorry. Then I read another 5-star read. Oh my god. Butcher and Blackbird. This book, wow. I wish I could read this for the first time again. I listened to the audiobook, I will say. Listened to the audiobook while playing video games. It was a treat, let me tell you. It was a treat. I had such a fun time. It's a dual POV. I just swallowed my tongue. It's a dual POV audiobook, and the male main character is Irish, and the narrator is actually Irish, which love. You know what I hate? This is like a side note. When the narrator is American and they're like doing an American voice, and then one of the characters is like Irish or British, and instead of getting another person, they just go and like have a fake British accent. It sounds so fake, especially in 2 times speed because I listen in 2 times speed. So I'm like, why couldn't you just get a real life British person and get them to say those 2 lines? It would be so much better. Anyway, this is book 1 in the Ruinous Love trilogy. Like I said, Lights Out, Butcher and Blackbird. If you read Lights Out and you want another book like that, read Butcher and Blackbird. If you read Butcher and Blackbird and you want another book like that, read Lights Out. I would say I prefer Butcher and Blackbird though. This book was so good. Oh my god, I loved this. The push and the pull, the banter, chemistry, the tension, the actual like spice when the tension reached its peak and we like actually got them to get together. It was so sweet, and this male main character, like I genuinely have never in my life yearned so much. He was so sweet. I just never expected like such a sweet and sentimental guy in a dark romance. Like it was so sweet. I don't know. I just love him. He's a chef. He's cute. It's basically 2 serial killers. Sorry, I realized that some of these books I'm not explaining the plot. I'm so sorry. This book is about 2 serial killers that have this like contest with each other. They only kill like murderers and rapists, like people that murder innocent people. And they have this contest where they get one of their other friends, because they both of them have like a friend or a brother who knows about their lifestyle as a murderer, so they get someone to pick a target and then they both go to that location and see who can kill them first, and it's like a contest. Okay, and then they slowly kind of like fall in love, and it's so sweet. It's so sweet, and it's so devastating in some ways, and it had every emotion, and the payoff was so good, and the spiced, and but it had so much more than that. Like it was genuinely like, it was so sweet, and it was funny, and it was just everything I want in a dark, romantic, spicy comedy. It was so good. Then we read another Frida McFadden book, The Intruder. This is a new release of hers, I believe. This came out in October. Not a fan. Yeah, I was not the biggest fan of this. Honestly, don't remember much of it, but I think this is a problem that I've had with a few of Frida McFadden's books in the past. When her books follow multiple POVs across multiple timelines, like one's in the past, one's in the present, I find sometimes that had she put the other POV first and then the second POV after, like if she had just rearranged the way she showed us the story, I would have liked the book more. That's how I feel with this book. Like if this book had been structured differently, I think it would have been a lot better. With that being said, I still don't think it's very strong, especially in comparison to some of her other recent books like The Tenant and The Boyfriend. I feel like those are so much better. And I didn't even think I liked The Tenant that much, but now compared to this, I really liked The Tenant. I don't really have much to say about it. If you do your due diligence and you're the type of person that reads every single one of her books, it's not a waste of time, but I would recommend some of her other books over this one. And if you just want a quick thriller, it wasn't even really that thrilling. Then I read The X Hex and The Kiss Curse. I read these back to back on my Kobo Libra color. Beautiful, beautiful. It has a pen. You can annotate with it. You can write all over the page. I'm not sponsored. I just love to talk about it because it's a Canadian product, and I just feel it's my duty. It's my national duty. The X Hex and The Kiss Curse. Wow. Loved both of these to the moon and back. Loved them both so much. Honestly, I think these are a new favorite. I think they're going to be a staple every Halloween season that I'm going to reread them. I loved them both so much. I honestly can't decide which one I liked more, because I think I liked characters in the X Hex more, and I think I liked the X Hex more, but I think the Kiss Curse had more emotion in it. I think the Kiss Curse was a more complex love story. Like there was a lot more push and pull, rather than with the X Hex it was more like they got together 2/3 of the way in, and then it was just like, how do we fix conflict, you know? But I think these books, I would say you need to read them back to back. Like I would really recommend reading them back to back. I know we're past like the peak of spooky season, but if you still want a spooky witchy witchy time. These are so good. They're basically witchy rom-coms. The first book, they're standalone, interconnected standalones. The first book follows Vivian, who, when she was 19, had this summer fling with this man who basically his family like owns the town. He's from Wales and they came to this part of Georgia and made this town. It's like this magical town. They're both witches. And she falls in love with him and then he leaves her. He breaks up with her to go back to Wales and she puts a curse on him while she's drunk with her cousin. And they like put a fake curse on him, except the curse was real. She doesn't find out until 10 years later when he comes back to the town. Second book is following Vivian's cousin and Reese, who is the man in the first book, his brother. They're like enemies to lovers type thing, and they have rival businesses in Graves Glen, which is the sweet little town in Georgia. Very autumnal. There's all kinds of fall witchy vibes. There's the Halloween vibes. There's spookiness. There's familiars. There's talking cats. There's all the good stuff you want in a fall rom-com is here, and I just loved these characters so much. Like genuinely some of my favorite rom-coms I've read in recent years. So good. Like I don't even know what to say about them. I know it's like past its time, like spooky season for most people. I know most of us are like excited for Christmas now, but if you've still got a spooky bone left in your body, if you're just goth like me and you just like spooky things, you like witches, you like rom-com, gobble this up. It's so good, trust me. Then we're getting into the books that I read for my 24-hour readathon. That was my most recent video. I read 8 books in that video. 4 of them I read in October. So we're going to talk about those. If you want to see the rest of them or see like my live reactions, go check out my most recent video. So the first one that I read was Love You to Bits. This book, oh my god, if you are an extreme horror lover, I would say only seasoned extreme horror and splatterpunk readers should read this book. It was very intense, specifically with like sexual horror, like not even all completely sexual assault and rape, like there is that in it, but religious horror pertaining to purity culture, the taboo of sex in the church and stuff. It was very good. Basically, this teenage boy, his mom thinks he's a depraved, evil little demon spirit because he masturbates, and so she kicks him out and sends him into the basement, and he summons a demon to get revenge, and it's a sex demon, and it takes over his body, and things get messy. Again, if you have never read extreme horror before, don't read this. It is genuinely horrifying. But this was, if you like splatterpunk, if you like religious horror, if you like extreme violent, disgusting religious horror, this is so good. It's been a while since I've read an extreme horror book that floored me like this. It was so good. Genuinely disgusting, gross, but it also had these themes in it that just kept pulling you back to earth and just being like, oh my god. It was a perfect spooky read for spooky season, and I just really enjoyed this, and I'm definitely going to read more of this author's work. It was so good. 88 pages, super quick read. Add it to your list if you like extreme horror. If you don't, again, be very cautious with your interest in reading this book, okay? It's very crazy. Then I read The Considerate Cannibal. This book, I didn't really like it, but honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I kind of do want to read book 2 because there is a sequel. This basically follows a group of friends playing truth or dare while they're drunk, and one of them dares the other to cut off a piece of their thigh and eat it, and somebody develops a taste for flesh. Things go crazy. It was interesting, but my main issue with this book was that it was very like tell instead of show, and there was not a lot of descriptors. So you could be a page and a half into a chapter and you realize that you don't even know where we are, like physically, like what setting we're in, what we're looking at, what the character is doing, because it's just in his thoughts, just talking, like moving the plot forward. And I just didn't really rock with that, but I do think there was the bones of something that I could have loved, but like overall, generally, it just didn't hit. I think give it a try if it sounds interesting. Just for me, the writing style really was just too plain, didn't have enough detail. I think it could have been an extra 10 pages if the author had just added more detail into things. But yeah, that was that. I don't have much to say about it. Then I read a Halloween themed monster romance, Burn for Jack. This is under 100 pages and I ate this up. I was reading it for a 24-hour readathon, so I had no choice but to eat it up, but it was so good. Genuinely, if you want a spooky, erotic, horror, creepy Halloween vibe for next year, I guess, because this video is coming out after Halloween, it was really good. It's about this girl who lives in this town where there's basically this urban legend where there's this witch named Jack Calloway that fell in love with this young girl who's also a witch, and they did all kinds of creepy, depraved rituals together, and his soul is trapped in the pumpkin patch, and every Halloween he looks for her, and she's that girl's ancestor, and she gets trapped in the pumpkin patch, and the pumpkin man comes for her. I don't know. It was good. If you want a spicy time, I think it was paced really well. Like, it didn't feel like a 93-page book. It just felt really well paced. It had all the vibes that I needed for Halloween time. It hit all the notes. I would really like to continue this series. I think it's called the Holiday Horror Series, and I think it's just like a series of holiday themed monster romances. So I do look forward to reading the Christmas one. I don't know, I just loved the way it flowed really well. It was very impressive world building and atmosphere and character building for a 93-page book. So I really enjoyed that. Then I read a book that I'm not going to talk about very much at all. Pink the Sing. This was a godless book. I hated it. I don't want to go into detail because I just hated it so much and I feel really bad like going that in on an indie author. So I'm just going to say really hated it. So yeah, those are all the books that I read in September and October. Let me know if you want to hear more about any of them. Let me know if you've read any of them, what you read in September and October. I will be back here this time next month for my November wrap up. In the meantime, we've got lots of vlogs coming for you. I've got all kinds of videos up my sleeve, and there will be much less delay this time around because I got fired. So all I have to do is make little videos. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for being a friend, and I'll see you in the next one, hopefully very soon. Bye-bye.